that link and
Well, we got guests this morning. Where's Charlie? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is 9 a.m., December 4th, Tuesday. Welcome to the weekly Cudahy County Board of Commissioners weekly meeting. We'll open the meeting with the pledge, and this morning, Steve Lee, you want to lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lee. I'm going to take a privilege here this morning. We have a couple of guests with us this morning. Well, we may have more, but JT, would you introduce the guests that you have with you today? And
sure. You guys can stand up. This is Felipe and Matheus from Brazil. They are foreign exchange students in Little Lake, and they're over here job shadowing this morning. So at the public meeting, and they have one other part. We've got one more still at the PO, right? Yeah. She's going. Is it the girl? Yeah. She's going in the commercial printing department. So, they came to see what the delight of a small town reporter is. Very interesting.
actually, they came to South Dakota to enjoy the balmy weather from Brazil.
They wanted to see what cold was.
Yeah. How about, have you ever seen snow before? Oh, you had never seen snow? Uh-huh. New experience.
you can take it back with you if you'd like.
Well, welcome. It's good to have you here. And I wish more young people would visit our commission meetings so they would find out what we do and how this all happens and what happens and what goes on. So again, welcome. That being said, housekeeping chores that we need to take care of. If you have a cell phone, which most of you have, please silence it or turn it off. And if you do get a phone call during the meeting, and you need to take it, please step out in the rotunda area so you don't disrupt the meeting. Also, this meeting is being streamed live, so if you wish to address the board, you will be on the live stream, just for giving you a heads up. That being said, is there anyone in the audience this morning that would like to address the board with an issue that's not on the agenda? We want to make certain that we have time for you during the open. We would not be able to act on it because it's not an agendized item, but if you certainly wish to address us, you certainly have time to do that. I see none. Is there any board member that has any issues of conflict of interest with any of the items on the agenda?
I would make a motion to approve the agenda.
We have a motion by Hanton to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gable. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes of the November
Make a
27th
motion to
meeting. I have a
approve.
motion by
Second
Van
that
Dusen,
motion.
a second by Hanton. Any discussion? Seeing none? Any discussion? Seeing none again? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Number 5, and Luke is here. We'll get him right up here. Action to approve a plat resolution for the Birchall Place addition in Pelican Township. Good morning, Luke.
Good morning.
Morning, Luke.
Timed up perfectly.
Luke, you want to hit that button there?
Here you go, Luke.
Thank you. As you said, this is the plat of Birchall Place Edition in the northwest quarter, section 14 in Pelican Township. First thing I want to point out, spelling on my slide is incorrect. There is no S in Birchall Edition. On the agenda, it's correct though. So just want to point that out. Give respect where respect is due. This is in Pelican Township. As you can see, a dot on the map there. It is straight south of about the middle of Lake Pelican. What would that be, about half a mile south, and then another mile and a half to the west of, say, the CHS plant south of town on Foley Road, and then back west toward Airhaven. What's being requested here is to plat 2 lots. One lot is going to be 10 acres. One lot will be 9.33 acres. This entity, they received a farmstead exemption to create a lot of less than 35 acres at the site of a farmstead. That would be the 10-acre lot at the site of the farmstead. This property is in the joint jurisdiction zoning area, so that farmstead exemption was granted by the joint jurisdiction zoning board. However, for plats, each entity has to approve them separately. And so this is before you to be approved for the plat, which was a condition of their approval. The one thing I do want to point out that's odd about this that we don't always see is that lot 2 is a 9-acre lot that is being created for conveyance only. There are no inferred or allowed building rights to that unless it is held with another lot that does have building rights. So if the property owner, and the plan is that the property owner will own both lots 1 and 2, well, then they'll be able to build on it. However, they won't be able to have a separate house on it unless that goes to someone who's got a total of 35 acres. Bottom line is that lot 2 does not have its own building right to it. Planning Commission recommended approval as long as they sign a letter agreeing to that condition that lot 2 doesn't have a vested building right to it unless it's owned with something that does.
Make a
Entertain a
motion
motion.
to approve that
Motion by
plat.
Hatton to approve.
Second.
Second by Waterman. Any discussion? Any discussion? Anyone have any questions? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
You can just leave it on, Luke. That's
We're going to move right on to the monthly reports, and we're going to start out with Extension. Good morning, Jody.
Morning, and I have some people who came from the north of my office, the regional office also.
Good, yes, and would you introduce your guests then?
Maybe we should have Audrey introduce her.
Audrey's been here before.
Yes. I'm Audrey Ryder, and then I gotta remember Grady
Rubel.
Grady Rubel is new to our office, and you
Say
started.
the name again.
Go ahead.
Grady Rubel.
Greg?
Grady.
Grady.
Grady
Oh, Brady.
Rubel.
Oh, Grady.
Grady.
I'll get it, yeah. It's Brady with a G.
Yeah.
Okay, Grady.
Grady Rubel, yes. And you're the interim livestock.
Cow-calf field specialist.
Okay,
That's what Warren was in
Yeah.
our office at one time.
yep. Good to have you aboard.
Do you guys want anything else to say?
Well, I wanted to come and introduce Grady, since he is new, and we just appreciate all that you guys have done for us. The storage unit is full, so Pete Bauman has his pickup and ATV and all that stuff in there, so we use it quite frequently, and have put shelving up in there, so we have a lot of our seed and all that stuff in there as well, which is good to have that in there and within our office areas, so yeah, we appreciate all of your help, and
It's working out fine.
it's working very well. Yeah.
And you're not here asking to have it heated or anything?
No.
I just-
She's
Good. Well, that's good. I'm glad it's working out.
Audrey, what's your title?
I am the early childhood field specialist
Okay.
at Washington. Yep.
Good. Good to have you here and welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Thank you. All
And I'm
right.
just going to give you a little report. We're just doing Clover Buds this week, planning for shooting sports and farm show, which are coming up really fast. We do have a Strengthening Families program that we're starting to advertise, and that's that 7-week program that we offer at the Watertown Middle School. And we'll be starting that on February 21st. I have some flyers for you. If you have places or if you have committees that you work on where there's youth, this is funded through a multi-state grant with SDSU, Indiana, and Kansas, along with our Watertown Healthy Youth in Watertown, and our Watertown Community Foundation help sponsor that. So they get a free meal at 5:30, and then at 6 o'clock, the parents and the youth are split for instructions, and then at the last hour, we do a family time together. So it's really fun, and lots of families enjoyed it. So, and then I just finished junior achievement with 3rd grade at McKinley School, teaching about our city and financials. So
Good.
So if you have any place you have, I don't know if you're committees that you're on, this would be a good way to promote it. And most of the youth have to be 10 to 14, so they can be older than 14 also. So,
All right, any questions for Jody?
Do they have to register for this, Jody?
yeah,
Or
they
is
can
it-
register by February 1st is our deadline there. So it says it right on the orange on the bottom there.
Oh,
So register by February 1st so we know how much food we need because we kind of help prepare that. We did get a South Dakota beef grant last year, and that helped pay for, like, we did some walking tacos, we did some barbecue, chili, things like that, and talked to them about making some quick meals at home and stuff also. So,
Well, it comes with lunch, sounds pretty good. Any more questions for Jody?
Typically, does this fill up? How are the
no,
numbers?
well, last year we had about 7 or 8 families, and then by the end we had 4 families complete the whole thing. Just sometimes commitments come up and things like that, and they can't finish it, but we had 4 families complete all 7 weeks of it, so,
How
to
many,
graduate.
how many families are you able to, what's the capacity?
I think it's about 8 to 10.
Okay.
So depending on, because the more kids we can have in it too, the more the activities that we can do, because with the amount of kids we had last time to, with 4 families, it wasn't a lot to do all the activities that are part of the curriculum. And this is probably our 7th or 8th year we've done this in Watertown, so.
Is that the name of the curriculum? Just
Strengthening Families
so it's
Program,
something that-
10 to 14. It's out of Iowa State University,
yeah.
and it's an evidence-based program, so, yeah.
Has the paper been in, do they have one of these?
I haven't put it in my news column yet either, so.
And you probably send it out to the schools.
Yeah, we
guessing.
did put it in the Watertown Middle School newsletter for December. It should be in there. And then I'm going to send it off to the other county schools too.
It'd be
So-
good if they could do the remind also in the school for push it out to the parents.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we're going to hit 6th grade at the intermediate school also.
Okay.
So,
Good.
'Kay.
Jody, before you, last week, we approved the stage, the new stage. Anything happen out there? I mean, it'd be pretty quick turnaround, but.
I
Jody-
don't know.
Jody-
I haven't
Jody knows
seen
what's
it.
going on
I
out
just
there,
know
so-
that the one we do have right now, when you're doing like a fashion review or some kind of activities, it has spots where you wobble on the one we have. So it's been around. Because I've been there when the years we used to haul the one from Ramcota.
Yeah.
When we didn't have our own stage. So.
Do you have another use for that somewhere? The old one, now when we get the new one?
Oh, I'd have to talk to Scott. We haven't visited
Yeah.
about it yet. So
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to,
use it somewhere.
use it somewhere.
Maybe out of Memorial Park.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
They might have to put something on it to protect it because it's wood and
Yeah.
carpet.
I just mean
so.
on the inside of some of those buildings,
Oh.
like that he's thinking on redoing or whatever, so,
As
Good.
a stage.
yeah.
Thank you, Jody.
Thanks, Jody.
Yep.
All right, Al, Veteran Service. Good morning, Al.
Good morning. And Myron, that's L with an A.
With what?
That's L with an A.
Oh,
Okay, for November, we had 112 appointments and walk-ins, three trips to Sioux Falls with 7 riders. We had our Veterans Day program, which is very well attended this year. We had over 450 people there. Great turnout, great speaker. Music was fabulous as always. Pretty short and sweet report.
The clinic is moving.
Yeah, the clinic will be moving sometime in 19. They take over February 1st, and then they'll start the remodeling in it. Their goal is August of 19, but talking to the people out at the clinic, they think September, October might be more realistic. But going to be gaining over 3,000 square feet, and hopefully adding another provider or 2. And they are going to have some more services out there.
Very good.
yeah, nice addition. I had a good visit with John, Dr. John the other day, and they're gonna completely remodel that building out there, so it's gonna take a while.
Yep. Well,
Be
but
nice.
it's nice location, a lot more parking.
Yes, I was going to say they'll have their own parking.
Yeah, a little bit easier to get in and out of.
I was down at the VA hospital yesterday for some work, and the clinic up here is very well respected by the doctors down at the VA hospital in
Yes,
Sioux
they are.
Falls. They say they do a good job, and I said, I just wish that they could do more up there, save my trips to Sioux
Sure.
Falls, so.
And, you
And they
know,
will.
when they will, I mean, there might be some that you may be able to do out here. So,
Bring
Okay.
in some of them traveling, like bus sort of things that they set up. on
What?
a-
I'm sorry?
You know, like do a traveling, like in some of the clinics, the outreach clinics, they'll have those traveling.
they do that with audiology. They come in so many days a week.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so
They actually have an audio. I was just going to ask, did you say where the new location is going to be?
it's right south of Casey's on 19th in the old Ace Hardware building. I think
Okay.
it's
Oh, yeah,
Snap
yeah.
Fitness
Snap
now.
Fitness, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard that before.
So-
Okay.
And I'm heading to Sioux Falls this morning with veterans, so.
No steps.
It's a big
Easy in
building.
and out.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Al.
Thanks, Al.
Al with an A, thank you.
By the way.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go on to
You too.
weeds. Steve with an S. Morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Well, it seems like it was just here just recently, which I believe I was, but to give the report and so that basically, I attended the Band East end of the year. More or less, one of the things that was brought across was 2,4-D will probably be up at least $2 to $3 a gallon, basically due to imports because some of the products are imported from other countries or from China that add into the ingredients. Also, on the ag side, they also said that nitrogen will probably be up quite a bit too this coming year, according to what they said. I did something a little different this year. They usually have two little meetings. One goes to the vegetative side, where roadside stuff, and then they also have lawn and turf area. I had attended the lawn and turf this year, kind of getting, because I have plenty of questions always about lawns and stuff, and to get a little more insight of other products used in lawns and stuff. So for the first year, it's a little bit much to intake. So, it's going to take a couple times really to get grasp on it. But it was some interesting items and stuff like that they have out there for different products of weeds. So also had a weed board meeting last week, Wednesday. From that, we had discussion a little bit on broadcast and spot spraying, and it was the board basically left it for my discretion if we need to broadcast or spot spray. If there is some bad areas, I probably will do a little bit of broadcasting, but on the most part, I will mostly do spot spraying this following year. And I'll have, when I send a request out, I'll have that on the request form more or less. So, also we had set the meeting for February 20. Let me check here a second. February 27th at 6:30 will be the annual weed board meeting with the Townsend Township. I will contact Travis Paulson to line that up for him. I believe it was said, I think the following week is Ash Wednesday, so that shouldn't be a problem for that. So,
Can you say that date again?
February 27th, Wednesday, 6:30.
Extension Center?
Yep, Extension Center, and I'll get that lined up. Oyster stew, and we'll probably do chili again, but I think I'll have them put it in a different container this year than last year of the chili. I kind of had it in foil, and it was a little bit hard to handle, so I'm gonna have them just put it in a bucket or something. So,
Yeah.
The old chili bucket.
All right, any questions for Steve? Any questions for Steve? Seeing none, thank you, Steve.
thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks,
and
Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Keep up the good work. Welfare, Sarah. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning.
Morning, Sarah.
Does anybody need a copy?
I think we got
you
I
get-
got it in our folder here.
Does anybody want a
It's
paper
in here.
copy?
It's in here.
Send it to Lee too.
I tried, it's vertical, I can't
Oh, you can't,
flip
can't
it.
tip it? Okay.
Yeah, well, not in
Did
this,
you want? You
not
guys
the way
good?
it is now.
Okay.
Not in the, if you want to look at it sideways, we can look at it sideways on the screen, but.
September, I do have one change in the September on the cost. We did have a burial cost of $23.20. We had printed this off before that had gotten paid, so there was a cost. The family members did pay for the, it was a cremation, so they kept their urn, so there's no opening, closing, and there was some funds that the family had available on that.
So is that in addition to the 5150 then?
The 5150 was the
is that total?
savings. We had
Oh.
3 requests on that. One, the father, we contacted the nursing home, and the father stepped up and agreed to pay for that. We contacted the nursing home, and they gave us the father's number out of Nebraska, and he said he was more than willing to pay for that. And I'm not for sure on the other one, but then we had one that we paid for. There was also, so in September we had 26 people that were served. Our highest was towards housing and economic assistance. And economic assistance was our highest type of services. We have not gotten updated on the prescription card program lately, but I know they've been having a hard time keeping that position filled at NACO, so that's why that still is at August. I don't have any additional information. So then if you go into October, there's 31 people that were served. The burial that was not paid for, the female individual worked through the nursing home. She had $1,550 in that cash. It was a cremation cash asset and also a home in Florida. So we worked with Tom Burns on that. So there was enough there. The individuals themselves had enough to not be covered on that. If you notice in October, we had homeless was up. We had 5 homeless individuals that we were working with on case management, same with utilities. One of the things I just want to talk about too, and we've been able to work with them, do a lot of case management. The cases that we're seeing are higher needs, more complicated, but Angela does a great job working with them, and we work together contacting individuals. But I want to talk a little bit about something that is very beneficial for the individuals that we work with that make all the difference in the world, and that is peer support. We had a case, one of the cases, that an individual was referred to us back in June, and because of that peer support that was provided, it makes all the difference. We can follow up with the individual, we can keep them, try to get their appointments, get them Meals on Wheels, get them independent living services, get them to Social Security, but it always helps to have that one person, whether they remind them, encourage them, sometimes maybe a little bit more pushy than others, but also we have about a handful of individuals that if it wasn't for the peer support, the people that bring them to our office, the people that remind them of their meetings, remind them of their appointments, whether they're doctor's appointments, because a lot of them that we work with don't have phones. Peer support I would say is a big factor and difference between their success versus not. Somebody just there to walk alongside them and besides us, if they have a phone, we'll call, make sure they're okay, see if they have any things ongoing. But really those people that helps them, that reminder, because they're under a lot of stress in that time. You can forget a lot of different things, help navigate those systems, and having that one point of contact for us is beneficial too, to help coordinate those services. A lot of services that have been provided in order to get people stabilized on that. So.
Question on that peer support. Are these individuals that will help several, or is this a close family friend of like this person, or do you have people that are willing to do that?
We do not have any trained peer support. There are peer support programs out there that I'd like for us as a county to look into, but there's nobody trained. So these are just individuals.
Into the mic.
Sorry.
That's right.
These are just individuals, whether just there's somebody that they know. Okay. I would say oftentimes what it is not family members, because the individuals don't have family members in this area or whatever had burnt that bridge. So these are just individuals out of the goodness of their heart that want to make sure that individual doesn't end up out on the street, kind, caring. And that's what our community, that is the way our community is. If it wasn't for that community that we have here, we wouldn't, we'd be in a lot more dire straits than we are with costs and stuff. But it makes a significant difference, that one person that cares for that individual, whether they take them around or ask the right questions. Some of these people don't even know the right question to ask, and we do our best to try to look at the whole picture. But just that one kind, caring person that cares and wants to make sure that they've got food, shelter, and those needs met.
Sir, I noticed the prescription card program the usage has been dropping off. Is there any reason? Is it because of insurance?
Yep, the Affordable Care Act would be a significant reason for that dropping. We figured that it would be, but, you know, it's still there for those that need it. We're still the highest county in the state. We utilize it the most in the state of South Dakota.
Just so everybody knows that it's there.
Yep.
It hasn't disappeared, it's still there.
No. And you know, the pharmacies are wonderful. They're fantastic we just have cards at Hy-Vee, the Walgreens, the different pharmacies. There's several programs out there. They can only run it through one. So for example, I think a lot of what happens is maybe somebody that's on Medicare, Social Security, and they have, every year you have to pick which drug program you want, and maybe this year all of a sudden you get a different diagnosis or need a different med that's not covered. They can run it through that, or they can see which is the better deal, but they can't run duplicate. Some states can run duplicate insurances or double, but we can't in South Dakota for whatever reason. So I think a lot of it, the people that utilize it are the elderly individuals, especially if they fall into that donut hole, time of their medications and things like that and changes. So,
Okay, any other questions for Sarah? Anything else? Thank you, Sarah.
do you want to,
Thanks, sir.
any questions on my travel? I have a travel request. Did you want to go over
Yeah,
that
there's
now
a
or
travel
later?
request. Do you want to jump down to that? Does anybody have any questions? We can. Pull it out of your packet. There is a hard copy of her request in the packet. And this is for your trip to NACO.
Correct. In the NACO Legislative Conference in D.C., there isn't a big agenda out right now, but I wanted to try to beat the deadline of the last date for early bird registration is 12/20/18. So
And the total cost that you anticipated, $33.05. Has everybody have that sheet?
Yeah.
See that? Should we handle that now or wait till we do the rest of them?
This is the only travel.
Cindy?
We have another one. We have two, so you can handle,
We do them both then.
yeah, we can do them both.
All right, we have two requests for travel, welfare, and the other one
Is
is,
the Veteran Service Office officer has requested authorization to attend a training in Sioux Falls at the regional office next Tuesday.
all right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Gable, a second by
Second.
Waterman. Discussion.
Question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So this is in your budget, right? Yeah.
for 2019, yes, and it'll come out 2019.
It's in the 2019 budget. Yeah. Yep. Okay, any other questions?
If the deadline is December, whatever, that would come out of this year's budget though, right?
No, I'll put it on the credit card and the county welfare credit card, and it'll come out in January, get paid January. But
Lee?
I can submit it and get it.
Arnie has a question.
Yes, I'm looking under meals, and it's a total of $45 a day for 6 days. Being a little bit familiar with what Washington DC food cost, I would think that would be a little bit on the light side.
It's what the policy is for the
Our
county.
policy is to pay state rates.
Okay.
So, and there's a different state rate for in-state and out-of-state,
Spring Trail mix.
yeah.
That's a number 6 at McDonald's in Washington.
And then maybe, I don't know, are there any meals that are provided?
If the meals are provided, I don't, you know, I just basically go by the policy. If you have your breakfast, lunch, and suppers, if the meal is
Yeah.
provided, I don't request for the lunch. So yes, there are out-of-pocket expenses for the trip, and that's fine.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All same sign, motion carries. We have those
Sir,
Thank you.
taken care of. Thank you, Sarah.
bring back some knowledge.
Yes, bring back some. All right, let's go on then. The next item on the agenda is the
just
setting of the.
For Charlie's information, the state rates for breakfast are 6, lunch is 11, and dinner is 15. If you're out of state, breakfast goes to 11, lunch is 14, and dinner is 21. So they're definitely, but I mean, we all experience it when we travel, that we know these rates may not cover our meals, but so far that's our policy.
Yeah.
to follow the state rates.
That's state policy.
That's a
Yep.
state, yep, it's the state rates, yep,
Thank you, Cindy.
yep.
All right, let's look at the setting the dates for the final board meeting for 2018 again. I always said 19, but 2018, and then set the first meeting for 2019. Since they are on Tuesday.
Yeah, if you want to take some time to think about this, but I just wanted to get the discussion going. Christmas Day falls on Tuesday, so we do need to meet that last week of December, so you'll have.
27th,
Yeah.
just Thursday.
Go ahead and set it.
I think that's what.
Is there
Does
a
that work?
time that works for everybody?
27th.
Does that work for you?
Yeah.
I mean, to finish up, is that okay?
Yes, the 27th will give me time to make end of the year adjustments.
That should be fine, I
So
would
do we need
think.
to do two separate motions for that?
I don't think so. I
No,
think
you
all
can
we
do 'em
need is a
together.
And then
consensus.
Then the new year would be
The new year falls on the 1st.
so the
Do
third.
we have to wait till the 3rd or the 2nd?
You
Okay.
can meet on the 2nd or the 3rd, or you can wait until the 8th.
So there's five Tuesdays in that. We could just wait till the 8th and just
Yeah,
make that,
let's do
just
that.
skip the
Yeah,
first week
and then skip
meet.
the first week and
Okay.
meet the last week instead.
Yeah.
All right, that'll
Okay.
work.
All
Okay,
right.
we'll go on the
Does
8th
that
then.
have any effect on salaries or any of that sort of thing? 'Cause
No.
we'll be setting, okay.
Nope.
I'd make a motion to do those calendar changes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion
I'll
by
second that motion.
Gable, a second by Hatton, to change both those dates.
Okay.
We'll just do it that way, all right?
Yep.
Any discussion? That's at 9 a.m., Charlie.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
My mother always used to run her clocks 15 minutes ahead.
Yeah. Very good.
Need to vote.
We have a motion, a second, any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Next item on the agenda is change orders in the remodel project of the courthouse. Lee, that's your baby?
Yeah,
We got a
There is one. This is, Mr. Chairman.
update in the packet.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, this is one I've been mentioning the past couple of weeks. This is a series of finish changes and some countertop sizing changes for the most part. And actually, it results in a credit of $10,753, which is kind of surprising. But that's a good thing. So it's mostly changing from wallpaper to paint where you could. And there were a couple requests on countertop changes from the court just to get it exactly right. This is some of the different surfaces around the bench and the witness stand and where the clerk sits. Then there's one thing I want to point out here. So my motion is to approve this change order as I'm describing it for a credit of $10,753.
Okay, we have a motion by Hatton.
Second.
A motion by Gable, a second by Van Duzen. Any discussion?
Yeah, so to continue on, Mr. Chairman.
Let's do it. Let's take care of that one first.
Well, there's
It is just one.
Okay.
Yeah, just
all
one.
right,
Just
go
so, just
ahead.
to add to the discussion, so we know we're have a full picture. If you look at this page, there's a page with the little kind of blue cloud square thing around it.
Called Leaper painting.
Yeah, so what that is, this change order does not include that. Okay, this is an estimate. A lot of the woodwork, so the paneling, like what you see in here in this room, a lot of that has paint spatters on it because of previous paint jobs on the white plaster. So there's some damage and some paint on that. So this would be a separate thing. We could if we wanted to add it, but that's not part of my motion right now. I think it might be good if we had a chance to take a look at what that would look like before we take this one up. But this is an estimate, so the painting subcontractor thought you might want to take a look and see. So he provided a proposal there. So that's what that is. So that's we can do that later or not. But just so you know so you understand what's in the packet.
Why does it have another amount? If all lines are accepted at 4,291, in there it's 4,840.
Where are you looking at?
Right underneath that.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not. That's. Let me take a look here. Make sure we're looking at this correctly.
600, quite dollars difference.
That might be a typo on that particular estimate here. So these are just painting, okay. This refers to the whole so that's the subcontractor's part of it, so it starts on the page before it, so it refers to that amount refers to the whole thing. So if we accept everything, so there's a lot of deductions and adds, to include that line there, number 7 in the blue outline, then it would be an add, so an increase in just the subcontractor's work of $4,291. As it is, since we're not doing that one, it's a deduct, and that is computed on the first page. So in the email that went with it, this $10,753 credit does not include that add for the woodwork.
But
So
if you do all of his,
if you do
all of these, whatever that is, it would be that amount, and not, if you just do this, it's going to be
no, you have to get that amount, you'd have to do that number 7 as well. Okay.
Yeah.
The 4291 is for the
Right.
previous page 1 through 6.
Actually, it's the previous page and that one.
Okay.
Well, that's what I mean, if you do them all,
Those are two different
Number 7
things.
Yeah, but that's
Okay.
just
Yeah,
the
that's not part of it.
This is just the subcontractor's
right.
part of it. So
Yeah.
this is just the painting subcontractor's part of it. Okay.
All
So-
right, so would you restate your motion?
Okay, so my motion is to approve this change order as described in the Mills construction cover sheet for a credit of $10,753. So it's change order PR.
Let's just stop right there. Let's just take that one separately, all right?
That's the only one we're dealing with.
That's the only one. That's the only motion I'm making.
All right, all right, that's good enough.
Okay, all right.
Is that your motion?
Yep, that's my
Is
motion.
there a second?
I second.
A second by Waterman.
Nope, Ben
No, we
Dusen
already-
already,
we're saying it-
we already had a motion.
All right, all right.
Yes.
Motion hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Artie was trying to get in there. All right, we have motion and a second. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Thank you, Lee. Then we will anticipate another one coming down the road here.
Well, we got to take a look
Well,
at.
I would recommend that we all go, as you have a chance to take a look at the remodeling, just see what you think of the
Yeah.
woodwork, if you think it's bad enough to
Yeah.
do this, so.
Okay? Very good. How about claims for payment?
We have one claim today. It is our 911 surcharge payment to the city of Watertown. The state has remitted $22,660.55 for September surcharge collections, and we pay that amount to the city of Watertown per our
Move
contract.
to approve.
A motion by Hatton, second by Van Duzen. Any discussion? Any discussion? No discussion, seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Personnel changes, I think we have about 3 of them in the packet this morning. Go ahead, Cindy,
I have lost one of them.
you want them?
Yeah.
Heidi, Allison, and
It
Melissa.
must be, oh, here it is. Never mind, I got it. All right, these are all 3 appraiser 2 in the Director of Equalization Office. Melissa Sears is due an anniversary step increase to step 9, $21.39 an hour. Allison Forbush also to step 9. She'll be paid $21.49 an hour because she has a education incentive. And Heidi Selchert is step 10, $21.71 per hour.
Okay, you heard the request.
make a motion to
Motion by
approve.
Van Dusen, second by Waterman. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. We took care of the travel requests, and the next item is old business. Is there any old business to discuss at this time?
Mr. Chairman, we just touch base on, we mentioned this a little bit at the CCGAC meeting, but also we had a BHIG or a Behavioral Health and Justice Working Group, and the main agenda item was to go over the data, so I was just going to show that real quick. Hopefully it'll pop up there. Just the big thing to take away from this slide here, let that go away, is that the So this is data based on the screens that Sean and the jail do in, for mental illness or mental health issues. And the big thing to take away from this slide, and so this is all the data that we've gathered from February to October. So people getting booked and being screened for mental health issues. And the prevalence rate, or the rough percentage of people that flag for a possible mental issue, is a little over 30%, close to between 31 and 32%. That's let me enlarge a bit. That's where it says screen result there, and then the one below it, the graph below it, where it says mental health issue, if you go across there, it says 29.61%, so roughly 30%. So as you go through the process, people flag as having a possible issue, and that's about a little over 31%. And then as Sean has a chance to do a preliminary diagnosis, it comes in at about 30% of people that actually have an issue. And I won't go into a lot of detail right now, but of those 30%, so that's 199 people in this span of months, or I should say 199 screens. So it's not that some of these could be repeat. It could be more than an individual showing up more than one time. But of those incidences, 7 of 199 would have a serious mental health issue. So that's just it in a nutshell, just to give you an idea. But we spent most of our time talking about that during the Stepping Up or the behavioral health meeting. So just wanted to touch base on that. And then we had a good CCJAC meeting. It was mostly a discussion. We went over all sorts of things. Mostly an informational meeting, a lot of good discussion, and that recording's online if people want to listen to that, which I realize maybe not a lot of people would want to.
And the paper did a good job of following up on it.
Yeah, that was one of the things we talked about. Was
Yeah.
that? Yeah. So.
Yeah, the paper had, hats off to the Peel.
Something
job.
that we are trying to work on is a soft handoff for the individuals.
Yeah, the warrant.
To
yeah, the
be
warrant.
released
Yeah,
from
the other discussion item.
jail.
Yes, good reminder. There's another discussion item at the mental health meeting was warm handoffs, and so now that we're starting to get an idea of the data, what the level of the problem is in the jail as far as mental health issues. Now, how do we? And it's kind of an informal process right now. Like, okay, say law enforcement encounters this individual, they might hand them off to say the deflection program. That's a harder thing to track because they don't even come to the jail. Or somebody gets released from jail, how do you make sure they go to their appointments? And so there's some things in place, but we probably need to solidify that. Do they get handed off to ICAP, to the county welfare office? Do they have to show up for an appointment at HSA? So all those kinds of things. Do they need housing help? So, and trying to get a kind of a procedure, an agreed upon procedure among the community assets that deal with that. So that was another part of those are the two big agenda items, was data and that. So.
And I may be naive on this. I guess I'm not really sure. I haven't really checked into it. When are these individuals released? Are they at any point in time during the day? Is there?
I think it just depends on, I think it could be any point in time during the day. That's a question for the
Because
sheriff
if it's
or the town. Yeah, I
after
don't know for
working
sure.
hours, those folks will need a different sort of scenario than the folks
That's
that
a
are
good
during
question.
the day.
I mean, that's a
What
good
they-
question, because that could have a big impact on
Oh,
certain things.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Another thing that, I don't know, this might not fit into this, but in our discussion that we're talking about right now, is the new Attorney General that was just elected. He ran his campaign on getting tough on crime, getting tough on the sentencing and paroles. And I don't know, did any of you hear or read any of his thoughts and what he plans on doing?
He just had a news release last week or something that
Just in the
spelled
last few
some
days.
of what
It was
his.
the presumptive probation aspect of SB
It
70.
could have
is
some
what-
effect on our local jails
Yep.
because of his new ideas, and that's something we need to keep we don't have room as it is.
Well,
And we don't need anything to act as a catalyst to,
I guess the question, I think if I understand the issue correctly, Mr. Chairman, was he wants to curtail the presumptive probation aspect
Right.
of SB 70. And so that means that, I guess, when you say presumptive probation, maybe you could help me out, Troy, if you know the terminology a little better, but somebody just goes on probation instead of getting sent to prison, to the penitentiary, for a felony drug offense. So the presumption is you're going to give probation a try. Now, this is not the same as drug court. That's not that kind of probation. And so drug court is heavily maintained. There's we have some success with that. And my understanding is with presumptive probation, maybe I'm misunderstanding it, is that you don't have quite that oversight. It's more normal probation, and therefore that can have an impact on the jails because
Right.
those folks, get arrested sometimes, and
Yeah.
it's harder for them because they're back in the same. Oftentimes they're back in the same environment that caused them to have the problem in the first place. So that's the challenge, and I think that's what
Yep.
he's thinking about.
And my point is, it's just something that we need to keep an eye on.
Something.
Simply because we're doing a lot of things. There's a lot of programs, there's a lot of things we're doing to try to help. And when we see something like this come along, we're not saying that we shouldn't be tough on crime. That's not what I'm saying. It just says that some things that happen at the legislative level, state level, sometimes the repercussions hit us.
They need to take a look at the nonviolent individuals that have addiction problems, because that's where most of our issues are related from. Also, my hope is that they would grow the drug court, because we're very limited on
Yeah.
individuals and case managers and funding. So if those programs are working, that would be another way of
that's-
trying to get these folks, like these presumptuous probationary people, into programs like that they do have some oversight.
So
The drug court's getting a lot of good press.
Yeah, and that's really
It
the
does
only,
work,
I mean,
though.
right now, that's really the only alternative
Yeah.
that I understand between presumptive probation and prison, so that's
Drug
kind of,
court's a very effective program. The problem with drug court is it takes so long to get
Yes.
these people through
Yep.
drug court.
Yeah.
And the amount of people you're able to help because of that
Absolutely.
time frame and staffing issues, that's when it becomes an issue, so.
But that's what it takes to get these folks.
Nope, that's right.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that
that's
is
right.
what it
But
absolutely.
it's a great program. Works good. We all know that.
All right, let's go on to new business. Maybe we've been beating that to death already. Is there any new business that we should address? I do have one meeting. I did attend last week. It's the Lake Kempesca Improvement Program that has been enacted locally here through state and county and other entities. But on December 11th, there'll be an open house up at the tech school. And we had this meeting last week, and the engineering company that we're dealing with or working with has about 4 different proposals. And we want the general public to take a look at what these proposals are. We've seen them, and give them some feedback. We want feedback from the general public and what they are. Improving clarification, lake quality, fisheries, recreational, and so on and so forth. But attend those, and it's very come and go. It's I can't remember what time it is, but it was in the paper. It was advertised in the paper this week, I know, and it'll be on the radio. They're promoting it pretty heavily to get input from the general public.
What was the name of the lady? I received an email, if I can go back and find it.
What was the name of that meeting, Myron? What's it called,
Lake
or what's it?
Kempesca Improvement Project.
Okay.
What was the lady's name? Do you remember? I can pull her up. But I received an email on it.
The lady's name?
Yeah, there was some lady who was kind of sending out the
Oh,
emails.
that's Mary from the Upper Sioux River Watershed District. She's the one that's doing the promotion of it. All right, open. Anything for the open? What do we got coming up? Brenda, you got our social calendar?
Yeah, all I have basically this week, unless I'm missing something, is there is the Beacon Center Gala at 6 p.m. on Friday night at the Event Center, if anyone is able to attend that. Other than that, I don't have.
GOP tomorrow. GOP meeting is tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yep.
What was that, Lee?
The GOP meeting is tomorrow, so
At noon.
since some of us are GOP, we might have a quorum.
I have a state retirement meeting in Pierre on Thursday, so I'll be leaving Wednesday afternoon and be attending that Thursday and come back Friday.
I had an ICAP meeting last week, but there was nothing new to expel on at this point, so. And next week, I do have an executive board meeting out in Pier, so if there's any sort of concerns that you want me to bring to the exec board. I don't know, Lee, did you find out, are you going to be out there?
Yeah, I was told that their agenda is full, so,
Oh, okay.
so I can talk to you about that so.
I'm sure my meeting will be happy. Yesterday, the Dow Jones was up about 300 points, so that makes everybody smile. That's good.
Must be Trump's fault.
Yeah, it must be, yeah. Whatever. Okay, anything else for the open? Seeing none, I have no requests for an exec session.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion by Hatton to
Second.
adjourn. Is there a second? By Van Duzen. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you.